What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the KellyCast. I'm Dan Kelly.
And I'm Mike Kelly.
And we got a new set. What's going on here?
Still smells like paint down here, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's why my nose is having so many issues. You ever think about that?
Not my problem. My cave. Oh, here we go again. Knocking stuff over. I took this out, decided last minute to paint her red. I got sick of looking at white. Wanted to get some contrast in here. Forever changing set.
Now, did you ever think that that's not what I meant?
No.
It's back this week, Mike. Oh. They finally had a performance that we can commend, we can discuss, and we can be happy about.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. 1,000%.
Let's get right into it.
Is back.
Let's get right into it. Buffalo Bills 38, Las Vegas Raiders 10. Today we start with a brand new segment, Kelly's Knockout Performances of the Week.
If you insist.
You want to ring the bell, Apollo?
All right. Ding, ding.
The 3 slot this week belonged to Mike, so I'm going to let him take over for our third knockout performance of the week.
Oh, thanks. I get to go first for number 3. All right. My pick was Mr. Terrell Bernard this week.
And that's crazy because he was on our list of bad things last week, and this week it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. I was knocking him this game. I said he's way too small to get in there, on the run against these linemen. This game, he proved me wrong. Hopefully, he keeps proving me wrong. Where's my stats here? I mean, he showed out this game.
He filled gaps, right? He wasn't getting blocked in the run game like it was nobody's business. He wasn't allowing running backs to have open lanes. It was a good performance by Bernard. I think we're all happy with that. I mean, hopefully this is a sign of things to come, right? It's a young player, and you hope that every week they get better.
Absolutely, of course.
But our number 2 knockout performance of the week this week belongs to none other than 17 himself, Mr. Joshua Patrick Allen. He goes 31 of 37 for 274 yards, 3 scores, and the most important thing, Mike, no turnovers. Crazy thing to me with this week, right? You see Josh in the pocket, and you see him last week against the Jets in the pocket, and it seemed like everything he was doing was just wrong. Like, it was wrong. The wrong decisions, the wrong moves, the wrong mindset, everything was wrong. And in this game, you kind of had those inklings, right? Because it was so fresh in our minds about what happened against the Jets. Mm-hmm. And then he fires that ball to Shakir and all your worries are gone. Yeah. At least for this game.
Absolutely.
Maybe not for Josh and his tenure here, but
yeah,
one of the answers by one of those guys, Mike, it was James Jones, former wide receiver. He was like, no, one game does not make up for 5 years of seeing what Josh Allen does. And I agreed with that because that's plain and simple. Josh is going to have those games where he's going to have interceptions. But what does he do for you? He's got the 5th most wins, when it comes to these things.
Yeah, sometimes.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have Josh Allen.
I was just going to say, you got to take the at this point in the game, we got to take what it is and just understand that he's going to throw picks. He's going to have games where he's going to throw 3 interceptions and be careless with the ball. And I didn't get to watch a whole ton of it because of my son's birthday party. Happy birthday, by the way. But when I was out in the kitchen real quick, he said, Josh made another stupid play. He jumped over, tried to hurdle over somebody. Well,
that's what I wanted to talk about next. So I don't agree with Josh hurdling people for no reason. The reason he went for the hurdle in this game is that's his former college teammate. That's Epps. He wanted to have a highlight over his boy. You can't blame him too much, but Josh, we tell you every week, buddy. It's gonna be a new segment. Please, Josh, why?
I don't need Hollywood. I don't need Hollywood Josh.
I like Hollywood Josh.
I'll take Hollywood Dan over Hollywood Josh any day.
No one would take Dan over Josh, but I'll take
Not
it.
on the field, not on the field. In the studio.
Hey, I've been getting better with that pigskin. Our number one knockout performance of the week, Mike, is surprisingly a running back this week with 17 carries for 123 yards, averaging a whopping 7.2 yards per carry. His touchdowns got vultured, but that's okay. James Cook performed immensely well in this game against the Raiders. And I want to ask you a question here, Mike.
Okay.
Do you think the outside runs is going to be a thing with the Bills offense this year? Because that's what James Cook was doing well here against the Raiders. Do you think it's going to be a thing that's, we're going to see more often?
Do I think it's going to be? I hope so, because I mentioned it during the game, of course, that he is not very good up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Cook isn't.
He's small.
He's too small for running up the middle. He's definitely an outside guy. He's shifty out there. Once he gets out in the open, he's can take it to the house, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But teams are going to figure that out very quickly. So you gotta figure something out with him. He did also have 4 catches the game for, I think, 33 yards
36.
or something. 36 yards.
Yep.
And so maybe get him out in the open a little bit more too.
That's what I like. That's what we like to
Not
see,
one drop
right?
pass.
Remember, I think it was last year, the stat from Josh, we were 32nd in the league in terms of yards after catch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it seems like they're working on it this year. At least in this game, they did, because you saw balls going to Gabe. You saw balls going to Steph, where they made plays, right? It wasn't Josh having to throw them open. It wasn't Josh having to be Superman. It was Josh having to be an accurate quarterback, which at the end of the day, we know he can be.
Absolutely.
He can be Superman. He can put on that cape. Not every game, boy. Not every game, please, right?
Yeah, not early on. We don't need another serious injury, especially with all the injuries happening. So
injuries. Great segue, Mike. The only one of note that I found was Micah. Micah had a hamstring late there in the game, didn't return in the fourth quarter. According to himself, he is fine. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means he's going to play this week or exactly what that entails.
I think he'll probably play this week. There was also Leonard Floyd with a little bit of an ankle, but he also said that he was fine as well. So,
okay.
No serious injuries. Good to see. I love it.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, there's teams out there that are not having as much luck as the Bills. Yeah. Teams like the Browns, like the Ravens. You're seeing some guys fall, and we'll get to that later on in the week with our predictions, which I have not gone over the games to see who won this week or who is winning for the season, so I want to let you know it's still up in the air. I'm not sure yet. But, Mike, I wrote that this game was this was complimentary football at its best. The offense was scoring. The defense was stopping the Raiders pretty easily. They go down. Oakland. Las Vegas goes down first possession and scores on Buffalo. 75 yards, less than 3 minutes. Right there, I'm concerned. I'm concerned as a Bills fan. What are you doing, right? This is the Raiders. Man, from here, the Buffalo Bills just closed the door.
They did. And you know what I found interesting when I was looking up stats is that there was, and they were side by side with each other on ESPN, there was a lot more defensive players
with
stats than the Buffalo Bills, which tells me that
you're doing something right.
Defense didn't have to be on the field all day. So, we got good chunk plays. We got...
I mean, I have that number for you. I'm ready for your stupid questions this week. The Raiders had 19 minutes of time of possession, and the Buffalo Bills had 40 minutes of time of possession. So, double.
There you go. Without getting to pay close attention to the game, I could tell that just by looking at that crazy
double the
thing.
numbers. We talked about Josh, of course. Tossed a pass to 9 different receivers this week. I thought that was a notable thing because obviously we know sometimes he force feeds Steph, sometimes he force feeds Gabe. 9 different receivers caught a ball this week.
9 different receivers. We forgot our honorable mentions in our knockout.
Who's that?
And our honorable mention number 1, I thought, was Gabe Davis, who everybody trashed, including me. For all of his drops, he had 1 drop. He had led 92 yards in receptions.
He always has a yards per catch over 10. This one, 15.3 a score, and obviously caught 6 passes. My thing with Gabe, right, is, as much as I want him to be, he is not a reliable number 2. There's games that he disappears for. The Jets is a prime example. 2 receptions, I believe it was something under 30 yards. This game he does well.
I do agree.
The thing that we know about Gabe Davis, as Bills fans and as avid fans of the NFL, they're not going to be able to keep him this offseason. So really, whatever happens,
True.
he's showing other teams his skill set.
What I was just going to say, which just says to me that we need to keep him on track, let him have his contract year. Everybody seems to have a great year when it's a contract year, right? We'll talk about some of that too. I think who was it? Burrow? They were choking around. Get paid, turn into Andy Dalton. But I mean, for later discussions. So
I wonder if this touchdown to Shakir makes them want to play him more, because I am an avid Khalil Shakir supporter. I think he deserves more playtime, more snaps. I seen Sherfield out there a couple times. I don't think he finished with a catch. It doesn't look like it. Nope. So I want to see more Shakir. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do want to see it, especially if you're losing Davis. It's like last year, right? We knew Tremaine Edmonds was not going to be a Bill. And we expected Jordan Poyer to not be a Bill. Thank God at least one of them came back. But Edmonds is gone. We miss him. I'll be honest. Bernard had a really good performance this week. We miss him in the middle calling those defensive plays. But holding the Raiders to 10 points is nothing to scoff at. Speaking of, Mike, for the first time since the 1970 NFL merger, there was a rushing champion held to negative yards, that being Josh Jacobs in this game. -2 yards.
-2 yards. Yeah. Just like what was the joke I said earlier? Just like OJ, there was a lot of backtracking. He killed the running game.
It's just crazy, right? Because if you would have expected to say that, right, for the Buffalo Bills run defense to show up this way after what they did against the Jets, you know what this deserves? Props to Sean McDermott. Because he got his defense ready this week. It was a great game plan. If the Bills play like this, they're almost unstoppable.
Yeah, I can see that, but not to take away from McDermott and his defense and the work that he's done and shown that they've done this week, because they obviously did an excellent job. My question to you, was it McDermott's defense, or was it the fact that the O-line on the Raiders are absolutely terrible? Terrible. I mean, they got a guy that Bills fans should remember, Greg Van Roten. Terrible at right guard.
I would tell you, if you're asking me that question, if it's about McDermott or if it's about the Raiders' offensive line, I would say it's more about McDermott and his defense, because even with a bad defensive line versus a bad O-line, you're not getting through. You're not getting pressure. And this week they got pressure. Rousseau got pressure. You saw Oliver. I think you missed the opening play. Again, your son's birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday, little man, even though you are a gremlin. I'm still going to wish you a happy birthday. Oliver got into the backfield, tackle for loss on the first play. So, from the start, the Bills' defense was kind of just ready to go, and it seemed like, they were playing for something.
Which they should be after last week.
Exactly.
They did not play well, and they helped lose that game a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. The other honorable mention for the knockout performances of the week, I wanted to put him up there. I really wanted to. I almost added a 4th slot just for him, but linebacker Matt Milano. Mike, you're the Jersey guy here in this house.
I am.
But Matt Milano is making me want his jersey, man. He's just performing every week. I was talking to your dad during the game, and I was like, I don't know that there's a better linebacker in the game than Milano right now.
And your favorite play and everybody's play, or his interception?
Beautiful.
I've
never seen a defender jump over an offensive player like that. Josh Allen, take some tips.
This game, he's trying. Players are gone to him, man. They're going.
And they should be.
Me.
He needs to. Me. You know what he needs to do? he needs to start trucking him just like he did against Wilkins a couple of years back.
I'll take that. I'll take a truck.
Give him something else. Give him a juke. Give him a spin move.
Yeah, I'll take a truck over.
That's what they said. It's crazy when you say you would rather your quarterback truck somebody than hurdle somebody, but that's where we are with Josh Allen at this point. Speaking of the offense, though, Mike, I was pretty impressed with Ken Dorsey this week. You know, we talked about him last week, obviously in a negative light because we didn't like a lot of the play calls, how there was no, intermediate routes to the wide receivers. In this game, I saw a lot of creativity. I saw a lot of deeper routes going past the first down marker. Obviously, we've seen some Shakir. Gabe Davis had a better one. And obviously, Josh just made some better decisions. When Josh makes better decisions, it makes Dorsey look good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Of course, when you win games, you look good. So,
Washington
some wins are ugly.
Washington won a game, and they didn't look very good, and they're our next opponent.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. Against another abysmal team at that, but
yeah, they had the easiest start to the season.
Yeah,
start to the season. Cardinals and Broncos. Are you kidding me? I wish we could have faced them.
We'd definitely be 2-0.
Let's take a look at the other side of the ball, Mike. Looking at the Las Vegas Raiders, because obviously we here at the KellyCast cover the entire NFL, not just the Buffalo Bills. We love the Buffalo Bills. You can see it by our set. You can see it by what we're wearing. You know this already, but we do need to cover some good things for the Raiders or some bad things, whichever you got. But I have Garoppolo, right? I don't want to say he isn't good because he's an NFL quarterback, but I did write that when he turns the ball over, they're in trouble. Their defense is weak. So if he's turning the ball over, they really don't have much of a chance in games, especially a 3-turnover game against somebody as powerful as Buffalo.
Yeah, I struggled with good things and I struggled with writing bad things because how much can you trash a team when they're down, man? They're just not good. Jimmy G, I've never really been a fan of, even when he was in San Francisco. I mean,
I wasn't either.
My 4-year-old son could work out in that system that he's got. It's just such a great system that they have. I just don't think Jimmy G's the answer for them.
And I think they know that. I think they know that Jimmy G isn't the answer.
1,000%. I don't think they're quite trying to tank for anybody.
I wouldn't say so. I would say if they pulled the Cardinals and traded Jimmy Garoppolo and started whoever else is there, then it would have been a tank job to me.
Fair.
But you said you struggled to find good things. How about Devontae Adams? 6 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Okay. Sadly went out with a possible concussion, which we don't like to see. There were some questionable hits by both Bills players and Raiders players on Sunday. I don't like to see it.
Just to see, I'm about the concussion. I did not see him on the injury report when I looked it up probably about a half hour ago. So
okay. Interesting.
He
might be in protocol. I was
looking at the wrong thing, but I didn't see him listed on there. So
he might be in protocol. It might be a different list possibly, or something like that. But their rookie wide receiver, Trey Tucker, has some speed. He had a 34-yard carry on that first drive when they went down to score. It was really all he did during the game. They were very disciplined too, Mike. Only 2 penalties for the Raiders. So that's something they can build on. But if Jacobs is not performing, the Raiders are going to lose.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's a point made by Mitchell Renz of the Raider Report that I was watching earlier to get kind of a different viewpoint from Raider Nation. Why not get it straight from the horse's mouth? Mm-hmm. The NFL isn't gonna respect Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So they're gonna constantly stack the box on him because he can't throw the ball long. Mm-hmm. McDaniels is not. He didn't quite say this, but I don't feel McDaniels is head coach material. So with that being said, they're going to have a very difficult time in the run game.
Not to mention, look at their division, right? Kansas City, Chargers, obviously the Broncos, not too much of a problem because they beat them by 1 point the week before. But I just don't think the Raiders are going to be anything better than mediocre this year. And really, Mike, we lived we lived through an era of mediocrity in Buffalo. Do you think you'd rather be mediocre or rather be a worst 10 team in the league and get a top 10 pick in the draft? I'd rather be in the top 10 in the draft than sit at 17 or 15.
Yeah, we've definitely learned that's difficult to build a team around.
It's
For
hard.
20 years we learned that's
Chicago,
hard. We were
same
nothing
boat.
but mid. Yeah, but they're
Now they're really bad.
trending. They're
Now
trending
really
downwards. So, but yeah, I mean, I would rather have a bottom. I would probably rather have a bottom pick. I think than be medium.
It's
Why?
just.
I mean, I like my steaks medium. Let's not in the NFL.
You're gonna cause some stir in the comments just from talking about steak. Let's take a look at the Raiders' next couple of games here. Up against Pittsburgh next week, who obviously performed pretty well last night.
Yeah.
Then they got the Chargers in Los Angeles. Then they're hosting the Packers. This isn't a three easy games. This is tough games, especially if you're the Raiders. Even the Patriots might be a tough task for them on October 15th. They got the Raiders and Bears. That's going to be a snoozer, October 22nd.
Yeah, but that one the Raiders might take.
I don't see a lot of positivity with the Raiders. I wish I had something good to say, especially if there's any Raiders fans watching. I want to let you know we feel for you, right? We've been you before.
1,000%. And you know what? They're not delusional either. They know where they're at.
Yeah.
This Raider Nation or Raider Report, they see them going an 8-8 team.
Yeah.
So and I can't disagree with them at this point.
One more note for the Bills in this game for me, Mike, is the performance of the offensive line, because we talk about James Cook, right? We talk about his performance. I think Josh was sacked maybe once? Twice. Two sacks allowed by the offensive line, but they held Max Crosby in check. There was really not that much pressure for Josh to deal with other than maybe that Shakir play. So I really want to commend the offensive line for a job well done. Overall, this is a team win, you know?
Yeah.
When you can't pick one player to praise, that's when you know it was a good week of NFL football. Speaking of good weeks of NFL football, good job, Melissa, on losing in week 2 of your fantasy football league. I'm looking forward to your next loss.
You know I have to sleep next to that woman, right?
I don't.
Please don't do that. Don't.
I told her I was going to do it. I can't lie to her.
But I have to sit next to you and laugh at it.
You didn't have to laugh. That wasn't in your script. Read your script a little bit better.
Oh, there's no script here. We don't do scripts, remember?
You just messed up a freaking script. The NFL script writers, come on, you could have went with that. All right, guys, this is all we have today for the Bills and Raiders recap, but we do want to let you know there is, of course, a live show this week with myself and Mike. That's going to be at noon on Sunday before the Washington Commanders game. Is it a 1 o'clock game this week?
I got to get up that early. I believe it is a 1 o'clock game.
Is it? I got to confirm with this. We should know this before we go on.
God, we're terrible.
Yes, 1 o'clock game for the Bills. Commanders coming into town 2-0. That's all we're going to talk about for now because we need to save the rest for Sunday. That's going to be noon here on the YouTube channel, the KellyCast. I'm Dan Kelly.
And I'm Mike Kelly.
And we will be seeing you guys in the next one.